Just then come to standing, lift and roll your shoulders, and just stretch up. Stretch your fingers, clasp your hands and reverse your hands upwards. Breathing out, go to one side. I'm going to my left. Breathing in, come to the centre. And breathing out, going to the other side. I'm going to my right. Come to the centre. Just turn slightly. Come to the centre. And then turn slightly towards the other direction. And come to the centre. Just lift your heels, testing your balance. And breathing out, lower your heels and lower your hands to shoulder height. Turning your head to look over one hand. Centre with your head, and then breathing out, turn your head to look over the other hand. Come to the centre, lower your arms and lift and roll your shoulders. Raising one arm, just holding your thigh, the other hand, just coming over, lower. And then breathing in, raise the other hand, come over, use your opposite hand to just support your weight. And come back. Just very gently raise your arms any way that you want to. And just notice the pattern of how you raise your arms. And then perhaps raise the other arms up the other way. And then just any way you want to. And then just lower your hands. And then come to this very familiar swaying from side to side. This time you are swaying your weight from side to side. And just have an awareness of your feet as they might lift up. I think I've said you find this movement right throughout all Eastern practices, really. So in yoga, it's balancing all the energies, but you'll find that, as I said, in other traditions. On a day like today, where it's so nippy, or chilly, it's very nice to just sway, and start to get your circulation to move. And then just come to the centre, lift and roll your shoulders. And this time, this is an interesting exercise. Turn your eyes to the right, then turn your head to the right, and then turn your torso to the right. Turn your eyes back to the left or back to the centre. Turn your head back to the centre, and turn your body back to the centre. And going to the other side, turn your eyes to the left, turn your head to the left, and turn your torso to the left. Bring your eyes back to the centre, bring your head to the centre, and then bring your torso to the centre. It's just exploring different neural pathways, and the message is very much that our pathways can be, are not set in stone, but there is an element of flexibility within our brain patterns. And our breath reflects our overall body, and our breath also reflects the patterns of our physical body. Because the two, the breath and the emotional body and the mind and the body are all connected. And just one more time. Stretch out. Bring your hands to the centre and come back down through, touching your hands lightly onto the floor, Breathing in, lengthening your legs slightly, lengthening, flattening your back. Breathing out, softening your legs, pressing down into the floor as you roll up vertebra by vertebra. Stretching up. Bring your hands together, back through the centre, and once more, bend your knees, bend your elbows as you come back down through to the floor. Breathing in, lengthen along your spine, tailbone to the top of the head. Breathing out, soften your knees, press your feet down, and roll up vertebra by vertebra. Hands up, coming through the centre, and then coming down to your hands and knees. In tabletop position. And in tabletop position, just sway your knees from side to side. I've said knees, sway your bottom from side to side. Your knees are hip width apart and your hands are shoulder height apart. So you imagine that you're like a fish. If you're looking down on top of a fish as it swims, you're curving your side one direction and then you're curving to the other direction. So as you sway your bottom from side to side. And then breathing in, dipping your back in cat, looking either up or along the mat, breathing out round, chin to chest. Breathing in, dipping your back, and rounding, chin to chest. Keep your bottom high and just walk your hands forward. Your elbows can be touching the ground or off the ground. Your forehead comes towards the floor or even touches the floor. You're stretching your upper back, tummy muscles in here, bottom, even here your perineum is slightly engaged. And then sliding forward onto your tummy, coming into Sphinx pose, just adjust your elbows to be comfortable. Press your elbows down as if you're going to pull yourself forward and then release. And then sliding your hands back to almost your chest level, elbows in. Come back to kneeling. And then walk your hands to the left to accommodate your right foot as it slides up. Hands either side of your right foot. And then just stretch and straighten your right leg. Your right toes go up towards the ceiling. You're stretching on the back of your right leg. And then very gently come back to your right angle with your knee. Keep your left hand where it is and place your right hand on your waist, opening out your right shoulder, and turn to look over your right shoulder with your head. You can stay like this, or if you want to go to the next stage, then you can lift your arm up. And if you really want to stretch yourself, which is a stress, the next stage is a greater stretch, is lifting up your left leg and opening out to the side. And then very gently come back with your right hand to the ground, drop your left knee, and then slide your right leg back once more into tabletop. Just once more, swaying your bottom from side to side. And then your hands this time go to the right. Bring your left leg up, hands either side of your left foot. Just stretch into the left thigh. And then just slide straightening your left leg to walk your hands back and your left toes go up towards the ceiling, stretching your left toes up, stretching out the back of your left leg. And then just walking forward. This time keep your right hand where it is, left hand goes into the waist, opening up to the left, opening your left shoulders. You can stay here, you can raise your left arm. And the next expression, if you want to explore that, is tucking your back right toes under and lifting your right leg, either hands on the waist or hands up. And then breathing out, bring your left hand to the outside of your left foot, so you've got two hands either side of your left foot. Lower your right knee, slide your left leg back, we're in tabletop once more. Swaying your bottom from side to side. Dipping your back, cat. Rounding your back, chin to chest, cow. Carry on, bringing your bottom toward your heels. Slide your hands back as you kneel upwards. Breathing in, raising your hands up. Stretch your fingers. Breathing out, lower your hands. Back down to the mat. Breathing in, cat. Breathing out, cow. Slide your bottom back towards your heels, stretching your arms out in front of you. Kneel up as you slide your hands back to your thighs, kneeling up. Breathing in, raise your hands up. Breathing out, lower your hands back down to the mat. Tabletop. Breathing in, dipping your back, looking up or along the mat. Breathing out, rounding your back, cow. Bring your bottom towards your heels. And then come to tabletop again as you tuck your toes and come into a very soft downward dog. Knees are bent to start with, and then straighten your legs a little bit. You can widen your feet. And here, walk the dog, swaying your hips from side to side. Your shoulders can join in with the sway as well. So you're really almost pushing your hips over to the left, bringing them through the centre, and then pushing your hips over to the right. And you'll find that this creates a sway. You bend one knee and bend the other as you're doing your sway. And then stretch both legs back, and then bend both knees back down to the ground. In tabletop again. Breathing in, dipping your back, looking up. Breathing out, rounding your back, chin to chest and cow. Dipping your back, cat. Rounding, chin to chest, cow. And carrying on, sliding your bottom towards your heels, stretching out your hands. Slide your hands towards you as you kneel up. Breathing in, raising your hands up, stretching your fingers up, and then breathing out, lowering your hands back down to the ground. Breathing in, cat. Breathing out, cow. Bring your bottom towards your heels as you stretch out in front of you. Slide your hands towards your knees as you kneel up. Stretch your fingers up and breathing out. Lower your hands back down. And then tuck your toes, tummy in. Come to your soft downward dog. And then begin to walk your hands to your feet to your hands. When you're comfortably hip width, feet and hip width apart,
Soften your knees and just hold your elbows or just rest your hands on your feet as a supported forward bend. And again, you can just try swaying from side to side, tummy in to support you. Press your feet down as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And then lift and roll your shoulders. We're going to come to the top of the mat in salute to the sun. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up, looking up or straight ahead. Breathing out, bend your knees, roll down. Inhaling, step or slide your right foot back, right knee goes on the ground. Left foot slides back. Dip your back, cat, round your back, chin to chest, cow. Tuck your toes, coming into your very soft downward dog. Feel that you can widen your feet and feel that you can walk the dog here. Both knees bend to the ground. Hands go to the left. Right foot comes up. Kneel up, hands up, stretching your fingers. Breathing out, hands either side of your front right foot. Tuck your back left toes, tummy in. Lift up your back left knee. And then step your left foot to your right foot. Press your feet down. Roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Arms stretch up, looking forward or up. Breathing out, lowering your hands. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Breathing in, hands up, stretch up. Breathing out, roll down. Hands either side of your feet. Step or slide your left foot back, left knee on the ground. Right foot back, right knee on the ground. Breathing in, dipping your back, looking up. Breathing out, rounding your back, chin to chest. Tuck your toes and coming to your soft downward dog. Widen your feet if you need to. Walk the dog. Swaying from side to side. Both knees come to the ground. Your hands go to the right. Your left foot comes up. Come to kneel up, hands up, stretching your hands, looking forward or up, and breathing out. Lower your hands to the ground either side of you. Tuck your right toes under, tummy in. Lift your right knee, and then walk your right foot towards your left foot. Press your feet into the ground. Soften your knees as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Inhaling, hands up, and breathing out, lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. Come to step your feet wide, the centre of your mat. Turn your left foot in and your right foot out. Left hand is on your left waist. Bring your right hand out. So this is like a triangle, a trikonasana. And classic trikonasana, just bring your hand to your shin and open out to the side. I'm going to invite you to keep your hand on your waist. And then coming up, hands out, centre your legs and drop your hands. Lift and roll your shoulder. And then turn your right foot in, left foot out. Right hand stays on the waist, so this opens you up here in the long meridian part of the shoulder. Left hand out, stretch forward. Just rest your hand, left hand on the shin, open out. And just notice if you have more control by keeping your hand on your waist. Of course, you can open out totally and open up, but just see if opening out with your hand on the waist is an easier option. And then coming up. Bring your feet to centre. So turn your left foot in, right foot out. This time rest your right hand on your right thigh. You might want to make your feet slightly wider and just open out to the side, so you're resting like this. And then once you've got your body torso in a sort of line, take your left hand and just support your head under your head and your neck, and just see how that feels. It's part of somatic awareness movement that by supporting under this part of the head can give a sense of greater opening sometimes, and then release your hand back to your waist and coming up, feet parallel, and then go to the other side. So right foot in, left foot out, and right hand on the waist. Soften and bring your left back of your left forearm on the left leg, and then just once you've got your line, bring your right hand, just hold behind the head, chin tucks in. You're opening your elbow outwards just to see if that is an easier or more controlled opening. Just take a couple of breaths here. It's quite a strong pose. And then pressing your feet down to come up. Release your hands, bring your feet to the centre. Even slightly have your heels out. Feel that you can adjust them, and then bend your knees as you slide your hands down your legs to place your hands on the floor. Feel that you can adjust your feet closer or wider apart, and just bend one knee and then the other as you slightly sway from side to side. Forward bend, which is a very nice compensation for the side movements that we've made. And then heel toe your feet in and press your feet into the ground to roll up, lifting and rolling your shoulders. And then if you've got something to hold on to, or if your balance is fantastic, wonderful, just hold on with your left hand to bend your right knee, just hold your right ankle, your bottom, your heel is going into your bottom, so you're stretching out your front right leg. That's part of your part of your white blood cells manufactured in your bone marrow, and then just release and turn to the other side, so you hold, if you need it, support with your right hand to lift your left leg up and holding your left heel into your bottom. If you've got fantastic balance, you want to do the bar dancer's pose, you can raise your right hand as I wobble, come out of it straight away, so it's another option, and then just come, bring your foot down and then come to the mat to lie on your back. Knees bent, feet hip width apart. Hands and palms down. And just start by swaying your knees from side to side. Your hands can also be resting on your abdomen, and your hands can be, your feet can be slightly wider than hip width apart. And now just have an awareness and bring your mind to your feet, and as you're swaying from side to side, have a sense that the sway is initiating from the feet, which might mean pressing your feet down slightly to lift your knees up to go from side to side. You can sway your knees a little bit or a lot. And now carry on with that same movement, but this time feel that you're initiating the movement from your knees. And see if that makes any difference. And now we're going to carry on doing the same, but seeing if in your mind you can imagine initiating the movement from your hips. And the subtle differences that makes within that or can create within the body and the movement that we make. And now just gently sway your knees from side to side however you want to. And then just come to the centre. At this time, press your feet down and just vertebra by vertebra lift your bottom fractionally off the ground into a mini bridge. Your hands might want to be palms down for this, and then breathing out, just lowering back down onto the earth, vertebra by vertebra. And we'll do that again, picking up the spine, vertebra by vertebra, as we curl the bottom up and then lift up slightly. And now the invitation is to do the same thing, but lift the back up in one straight line, not separating out the vertebrae. So just almost lift the whole bottom just up. So there's no flex in the spine at all, and then just return the whole spine as one whole back down to the ground. And repeat that again, just lifting up in one block. And breathing out, lowering. There's no right or wrong, by the way. It's just an awareness of different ways of practicing and seeing what suits you. Just gently swaying your knees from side to side. And then keeping your right foot where it is, hug your left knee into your chest. And just make little circles with your left knee while you're holding it. So you're moving or exploring your hip socket rotation, but very safely here as you circle your left knee from round and round. And then reverse your circle, going in the opposite direction. And then holding your right leg under the thigh, extend your right leg upwards and extend your right heel and point your right toes. And do this a couple of times. And then evert, invert, so turn your big toe inwards as if your little toes are trying to come towards you, and then centre. And then turn your big toe away from the midline, evert. And then just again, you're almost turning the foot in its socket into the midline and out the midline. And then extend that to the whole leg, so the whole leg is turning inwards and the whole leg is turning outwards. So you're again moving your hip, your leg in the socket slightly differently. And then very gently walk your hands up your leg and either lift your head or again take your hand to support under the head and neck to lift your head towards your left knee, left leg, and then release your head back down again. And hug your left knee into your chest. Open your left knee to the side, just resting your left ankle on the right leg. Hands either on the abdomen or on the floor, and then just swaying gently from side to side, lifting your hips. Massaging across your lower back and the upper part of your bottom. And then just unravel your left leg, place your left foot on the floor, and bring your attention to the right side. Picking up your right knee, hugging your right knee to your chest, and just very gently circling your right knee in one direction. And then thinking about changing the direction of your circle. Again, you're moving the hips, the leg and the hip socket. And then supporting your right leg by dropping your hands underneath to extend your right leg foot upwards, extend the right heel and point the toes, and extend the heel and point the toes. And then just circle the right ankle a couple of times in each direction. And then come to this slightly different evert and invert movement. So bring your big toe towards the midline of your body and then turn your foot, go to the outside. The big toe comes away from the midline of the body. And do that a couple of times. And then you can involve the whole leg turning inwards and the whole leg turning outwards. It's just a movement that we don't make necessarily very often. And then just stretch your toes out. Walk your hands up the back of your right leg and lift your head up towards your right leg. You can support your head by holding your head with your left hand and then release your head back down to the ground. Hug your right knee into the chest and open your right knee out to the right, resting your right ankle on your left leg. Hands can be on the floor or on your abdomen as you gently sway from side to side. Lifting your hips off the ground if you would like. It's a massage across the lower back. And then very gently unravel by lifting your right leg off your left. And again, your knees are upwards, they can be hip width apart or slightly wider. Raise your hands up above you. You can just have your backs of your hands loose on the ground or towards the ground, or you can hold one wrist and then the other wrist. And just sway your knees from side to side. And you can keep your hands static, or you can just slightly sway from side to side. At the top as well, it's just a freestyle movement. You can bend your elbows if you'd like and just hold your elbows. That's another option. You're opening out under your arms. You can change over, holding the other wrist, or just change the hold of your elbows if you want to even yourself up. And then come to the centre. This time, start your breath, and then half to 3/4 of the way through, you'll find that your tummy engages, and it half lifts your elbows up or your arms up for you to bring your arms back down by your side. So if you wrap your movement, your yoga movement, or any movement with your breath, starting the breath, make a movement, finishing your breath, it's a more controlled movement. And of course, for every rule you can break, there's another aspect, but it's just interesting to try that. And then hug your left knee into your chest, keep your right foot where it is, or adjust it to be comfortable. We're going to do half happy baby. So if you can't reach your left hand onto your left foot, just hold your left ankle or shin. But for those of you who can, half happy baby on the left side, so the sole of the left foot up to the ceiling, holding it onto the sole of the foot. Again, you can repeat this sway, your knees aiming towards the ground. It's a great hip opener. The hips and the shoulders too are very much implicated in aging us as we don't make a full movement and the little muscles contract slightly. So you've been looking some way, except me opening the hips. And then hug your left knee into your chest and replace the left foot on the floor as you bring your attention to the right side. Lifting the right foot up, sliding your hands down, and placing your right hand underneath the right sole of the foot. Half happy baby on the right side. Your left hand can be resting on your left hip bone, on the floor, on your abdomen, wherever that feels good. And you can sway from side to side. What I particularly like about the half happy baby in these movements are that you're not putting a huge amount of weight on your hip. Pigeon is the classic hip opener, and I love pigeon, but if anybody's got slight dodginess, you're putting a lot of weight on the joint, and this is just a halfway house. And then for those of you who love happy baby, you don't have to, you can just hold your ankles. You can do a full happy baby, just rocking from side to side, but of course you can vary this by holding the shins or holding wherever is appropriate.
Said no to the elbow. I'm trying to do yoga, I've got it on my iPad.
And then just rock from side to side.
20300. Fine.
And then hugging your knees into your chest. Just rocking from side to side. And then you might want to include rocking forwards and backwards. So breathing in, let your knees drift away from you to arm's length. And breathing out, hugging your knees into your chest.
Sorry,
and just repeat that a few times, breathing in, letting your knees drift away from you, and hugging your knees into your chest. It's pulsing the lower back. And then very gently supporting under your legs to bring your feet back down to the ground. Stretch your legs out in Shavasana. Tense your toes. Tense your knees. Tense your arms and release and let go. Lift your chest up to the ceiling physically and then release it back down to the earth. Lift your shoulders up towards your ear and then release your shoulders back down again. Very gently turn your head from side to side, releasing out the neck and part of the shoulder area. Choose a colour today, any colour, and just imagine wrapping yourself in cotton wool with your favourite colour. Remember to include front and back, under your feet and over your head. And then have a thought for the day, an intention for the day, and mentally repeat that a couple of times, letting it drift off. And you can either stay here, bringing your hands together, elbows up and just touching your crown of your head, or come to roll to the side, taking your time to join me to finish the class. And either way, whatever works for you, whether you remain lying or whether you come up to a seated position, just mentally take a vow for yourself to have a very lovely day ahead. And thank you everyone very much for joining me today.